Coach, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Before I get going on our plan for Georgia and answer your questions, I do want to just take a minute and offer my condolences to one of my good friends, Sean Clark, and his family, Janelle, and their two kids, Braxton and Gianna. Just to hear of his passing, the last couple of weeks we've gotten updates, and just a sad moment. And you think about a person that I would want my sons to be coached by. I can't think of anybody in this profession that better than Sean Clark. He's a fantastic human being, great energy, loyal, thoughtful, and certainly I was glad to be able to call him my friend. So, the profession is tough sometimes when you lose people in any profession, but certainly you move on and you continue to work and do the things that you need to do. And so, for this week, looking at Georgia, we're certainly excited about this opponent. Have tremendous respect for Coach Smart and Coach Bobo and the way they operate offensively. I think they've done a really good job with their quarterback and Gunnar Stockton. I think he's operating very efficiently right now. I think what they're doing with him and the grit and toughness that they have shown. Great football team that will be a tremendous challenge. They've shown some grit and toughness on the road as they showed in last week in Knoxville. And that's something that, we've got to become more consistent as a football team of how we handle adversity on the road. And can't think of a better place than being able to test and prove that than Athens, Georgia this upcoming Saturday. So looking forward to the game. And there's a lot of work to be done between now and then, and certainly our players have done a great job in the bye week in preparing ourselves to kind of get a jump on the week. So we're in a good place. Looking forward to the work in the week ahead.
Thank you, Coach. Let's start on the far left with Chase.
Could you speak to the challenge that Georgia's offense presents with its running game, and to that point, how do you feel about the way your defense is executing run fits right now?
Yeah, I think we are taking strides. Every team is working to get better, and those are the things that I told our guys. Everybody has issues right now, but everybody's got to work to get themselves better, and the good teams are the ones that just better themselves week by week. I think our run fits are improving as we go. I don't think we're where we want to be, and certainly I think there's some things that we've put on tape that we're going to have to answer for as we go down the season, things that I would imagine Georgia and other teams in the SEC are going to try to expose. And so we want to make sure that we have a plan for those things, but I think our guys have been very locked in. The work that we've done thus far, we've had a good off season or bye week, off week of practice, and I think for you think about this team, this is a tough, gritty. Their backs run hard, they're physical, and so it's ultimately going to be about bringing a grown man to the ground, right, and the physicality that it takes to do that over and over. Because I think Coach Bobo does a really good job of just staying committed to the run game as it goes on, and those are like body blows in a boxing match, right? You got to be able to match pound for pound for as many times as they want to run the ball.
Let's go to the opposite side. Nick on the front right.
Yeah, follow up on that question about defending the running game. Gunnar Stockton, I think, leads them in rushing touchdowns so far this season. What do you see from him on the ground, what he can do, and how you guys need to defend him?
I think they do a really good job with Gunnar in the run game. It's just enough to keep you honest. You see the run game at the right time. Certainly third downs and red zone, and those are things that will always be the case for offenses. But he's a physical kid. He's tough. He's gritty. He's willing to get the yards in the read game. He makes the right decisions the vast majority of the time, and so he has certainly brought an element to their run game that maybe they didn't have as much with Carson a year ago, and I think that's something that that certainly we're going to have to account for.
Stay on the front row, right in the middle, Tony.
What have you seen from the progression of your pass rush? How do you think that's coming along?
I think we're taking steps in the right direction. I think we'll know a lot more as we move into SEC play, and we'll know a lot more about our ability to pass rush, after Saturday. So going up against a good team and a good offensive line, big, physical, and certainly they've got great athletes. And so I think pass rush is, you look at it through different facets, just as a four-man rush, how you're blitzing, how you're simulating pressure. But certainly I think just when you look at our defensive line and outside linebackers that are rushing off the edge, I think we're taking steps in the right direction. But I'm excited to see the progression on Saturday.
Let's go to Kennington on the back right.
Georgia's screen game has been a pretty prominent part of their offense in the first few weeks. How would you assess how your defense has, shedded blocks and tackled in open space, and how do you emphasize those points in the season?
Yeah, I think they've done a fantastic job in their perimeter screen game. You look at the screens, you look at the actual, double screens and slip screens and tunnel screens and all those things, and then just the perimeter now screens that they're getting out there. They're blocking on the perimeter at a very high level. You can tell their wide receiver room takes pride in it. They do a good job of taking good angles and breaking tackles. I think that's certainly going to be an element to the game that we have to defend. For us, we have been a pretty consistent space tackling team. That's certainly something that's going to have to show up on Saturday, because they're going to test you. They're going to stretch you laterally the width of the field and make you defend, all 53 yards there laterally. So for us, that'll be a good challenge.
Standing up all the way in the back left.
Hesitant and timid were ways that you described the week one performance. How do you avoid that happening again on the road against another elite opponent?
Yeah, I think it's on the forefront of all of our minds. I think, we've talked about it, and made an emphasis, and yet at the same time, right, you gotta take the next steps forward. But I think locking your jaw on the road, having a mentality of adversity is coming, and how you're going to be responsive and not reactionary to adversity is a major aspect to overcoming adversity on the road. And I think that's something that we have to show that we can do a better job of as a football team. I think it's something that we have stressed to our players. Our players have taken great ownership of it. Our coaches have taken great ownership. We've got to make sure when adversity comes that as a sideline and as a football team, we're ready to go, not just mentally, but physically respond, emotionally respond in that moment. And something that, I'm looking for the opportunity to respond to adversity. I think us as a coaching staff, us as a defense, that's something that we're, kind of looking forward to the opportunity to showing.
Staying on the left side, we'll go to Katie, second row.
What is the possibility of getting Tim Keenan back, even if it's in limited reps, just bring for this defense from an on-field perspective and his leadership?
Yeah, Tim will be back for the game. He's done a great job. Has been practicing, the last couple of days here and has looked pretty good. And so, credit to him and Jeff Allen and our staff for getting him, ready to go. So excited certainly to have him back. Just the physicality that he brings, the experience, the block recognition, the ability to get off of blocks, and certainly what he does for us, not only in the run game, but I thought he has taken some strides in pass rush as well from an interior pass rusher. So excited to have him back this week.
All right, we got two more questions. Let's go to Colin, front left.
Kind of back to the whole road game adversity thing. Has there been any change in conversation, change in approach in terms of, road atmosphere, how you guys talk about road games? Like, what does that look like between you and the rest of the coaching staff?
Yeah, conversations that we have. I think Coach DeBoer has a very good pulse for our football team right now. I think we've made some adjustments to give ourselves the best chance to be able to play responsive football on the road in adverse situations. And so, for us as a football team, it's a mindfulness. I think our players, they're great young men, they're great kids. They get whatever we emphasize, we tend to get from our players. And so, we have made that a huge point of emphasis. I think you've seen that at home in the energy and juice that we've brought from our sideline, the passion that our guys have played with the last two games. But there's a difference when you have to go on the road, particularly in the SEC and in a hostile environment, and respond to adversity. I thought at times we have been a team that has been reactionary to adversity, and we've got to be more responsive. It's at the forefront of our minds, and I expect to see a very responsive football team on Saturday.
All right, let's finish up with Emily Grace right on the front row.
Hey coach, what elements of this defense do you feel like you were able to fine tune with this extra prep time, and how do you expect that to translate on Saturday?
Well, the first thing is you look at like some self-scout things, what have we put on tape? What are we gonna have to answer for as the season goes on? What are we doing well? What do we need to continue to show and do more of? So those are different elements, personnel matchups, all those types of things. But I think for us, keeping the main thing. I think, getting our cleats in the ground, identifying where the ball declares, and then playing a swarm D football mentality. And I think that's something that our players have kind of leaned into. We have done a good job of really the last year and a half here of playing with great offensive recognition that did not show up really any way near the standard in the first game. And so getting back to playing that style of recognize where the ball's gonna be, where the ball declares, and then going and finishing and playing. I think that's something that we've got to make sure continues as we get into SEC play.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks guys. Roll Tide.